Amazing to have a conversation with Emma O'Brien, who is a longtime friend of ours. She's been on the podcast before. She's collaborated with us on some of the tools, and she's stepping into this new shamanic medicine wheel kind of processes and teaching that. And she explains it so well. And one of the things I love most is that if you listen to this episode, you're going to come out with hope for a better way for the world. And God, don't we all just need that right now?
Man, the timing of this episode, not only for everyone listening, but for Marci and I, it was just perfect. Like it couldn't have happened at a more beneficial time, I think, for everyone. You know, we started with the tools with her, and we've watched her sort of level up, and she walked into the space and she's doing it. This is something everybody's going to want to listen to. Sure.
This is a woman who's out there doing the work, and then she's empowering us to do it too. So be ready for an excellent episode, and for some hope, and for some tools, some things for like, what's next for me?
The world is a lot right now. Are you feeling it? We all need new tools to help us walk through the chaos with grace, ease, and compassion for each other and for ourselves. In this podcast, you'll hear from parents, educators, and other experts who can bring perspective to the monumental job of parenting. It's time to level up and be warriors for our kids and our communities. This is the Warrior Parent Podcast. I'm Marci Mitchell.
And I'm Debbie DeMano. As parents, we understand that it really does take a village to raise our kids. We hope that this podcast serves to create and support that community for you. Join us as we discuss and practice our core tools, which are proven mind-body techniques that can be used by anyone to improve your life on a daily basis.
Welcome back to the Warrior Parent Podcast. We are so grateful you're joining us. It's so wonderful to have this community. It's going to be a great podcast today because we are bringing back our wonderful friend, Emma O'Brien. And she is a conscious femininity coach, a shamanic guide who helps women reconnect with themselves, reclaim their energy, and create lives that feel more aligned and authentic. Through a blend of grounded coaching and shamanic practices, such as soul retrieval and power animal work, Emma supports women navigating midlife transitions, emotional healing, and the quiet sense that the life they built no longer quite fits. Anyone feeling that? She's the host of Lemons and Pineapples podcast, where she explores personal growth of shamanic wisdom, emotional wellness, and the journey of coming home to yourself. Known for her warm, honest, down-to-earth approach, Emma combines deep insight with practical guidance to help women rediscover their self-trust, their inner wisdom, and a sense of possibility. If that sounds good to you, you are absolutely in the right place. Emma, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Marci. Hi, Debbie. Lovely to see you again.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. I could have a little bit of Emma, like just a little dose, like once a week, just to get me through the shit right now. I'm just being straight up. Like, we need a lot more of Emma O'Brien on the planet right now. So if you're not feeling inspired by that intro, I don't know what would. But anyway, you know, we've been interviewing with Emma for, I don't know, kind of since we started this whole thing 2.5 years ago, I think. And she made some tools for us, which we love and use. And, you know, we're all about the tools. But Emma, like, I don't even know. I was just listening to your introduction about the shamanism, and I don't even think that was a part of the work that you did. So you have continued to do all of this other work as a result of your growth and your learning, and you know what's showing up in the world right
staying
now.
Open to what the universe is bringing and saying, here's where you go next.
So as a result of that, we asked Emma, like, what do you want to talk about? What's your tool? And she came up with the medicine wheel, and I would be straight up, I had to go and look it up because I have no idea. So let's start there. Let's start with, like, what is this medicine wheel, and how can we use it?
So to just put the lineage into perspective, I have being taught by a shaman who comes from a Peruvian lineage, how she's learned. So that's how this has kind of been passed down to me. It's quite interesting with shamanism is I think we often think of it being kind of South American or indigenous culture, but it's one of the oldest healing modalities and spiritual practices on the planet. So I think from what I've read and the research I've done, shamanism probably started in Siberia, which is quite interesting, and it's been a cultural way of being that the nature-based wisdom that was happening before everybody, the patriarchy.
All the bullshit. Yes.
That's
so interesting.
I just want to say
never heard that.
Yeah, the older we get, the more F-bombs and slang we're throwing around, it seems these days, because that seems the only words that are working for us right now.
Yes. And fuck the patriarchy always.
Absolutely. And I think if we look at things like this, I think shamanism's having a real revival, and it's having a revival for Westerners as a way of being, because it takes us back to living in right relationship with nature, living in right relationship with ourselves, and living harmoniously, which I think we all know at the moment we have a world that is got a harmony problem. Not that. But it's a wonderful methodology to draw on. And to come back to your question, Debbie, about the medicine wheel. So the medicine wheel is a way of moving through a cycle of change. And I did Martha Beck's coaching training, and she had a change cycle. She calls it the 4 squares of change. So this is another way of navigating through change through the lens of the natural world and metaphors we get from that. So if we talk briefly about it, we're working with the 4 directions. So if we start in the south, which is represented by serpent, and this is where we come to when we've hit a crossroads in life and nothing's working and we're stuck, and we have a look at, okay, how do we work with the energy of the south? And that is, we start to look at what are the stories we tell ourselves that maintain the status quo that we are in.
Yeah.
And if we let go of the stories, what happens? Who are we? Who do we become? And the work of the South really is like a snake shedding its skin, is can you shed all the bits that don't work so you can emerge anew? So it's really about examining, what do you tell yourself on a daily basis that keeps things the way they are? And sometimes those stories are great because what we've got is good. But if we're coming to work like this, things probably aren't good. So.
I just have a quick question. I don't want to forget about it, but you talked about the shedding. So does this have to do with astrological? I mean, do those things coincide? Because we just got through the snake season, and hopefully we've shed a lot. So are those things correlate? Is astrology part of the medicine wheel? Or?
No. I think it could be. For me, it's not. So I'm not into astrology. I'm not knowledgeable about astrology. So it's more, if we look at snakes, a fully grown snake will shed itself between 4 and 6 times a year. And it's quite interesting when you look at the metaphor of how a snake sheds for change, how it happens for us, is before it sheds, a snake goes very quiet. It gets a bit depressed, a bit irritable, and it goes into what's known as into the blue, because all its scales have to lift off. Its old skin has to lift off, and it even goes cloudy over its eyes. And I looked at that and I thought, what a wonderful metaphor for what happens for us when we're going through the liminal space of we're trying to move somewhere we want to go, and here we are, but we have to go through the shit in the middle to get there. And so many of us avoid going through the shit in the middle because it's uncomfortable and it's hard, and we don't like all the feelings that come up, so we stay stuck. So if we use this snake metaphor, it's a really nice to start to shift things for yourself.
This is America right now. We are not, we have for so long, we haven't wanted to shed. So we just keep hiding, and we keep adding more layers of crap instead of shedding off that skin. And we're depressed, and we're irritable, and we're all screwed up. And it's time for that. And I do think that people are starting to say, they're starting to ask the hard questions, and they're starting to say, wait, what if this system never worked? What if this system, it worked for me because I'm a white middle class woman, but I can see now that it wasn't working for people of color and for indigenous people and for the queer community. And then of course, if you're a man, then you're really like, hey, white male, like this is the best system ever. And yet it wasn't working for them either, because they've had their softer side crushed and been told, don't do this and don't cry and don't feel things, and you got to fight for everything. And so, man, our snake is like a mess right now, and hopefully ready to shed. I feel like we're going to shed multiple skins because we just kept packing them on top instead of allowing them to shed.
Yeah.
I just want to say women are under attack right now too. Marci says working for white women. It has not been working for women. And, just on a side note, like I had a guy in a grocery store, in Safeway grocery store, come up to me and look right at me and said, "You're the problem." Like this is happening in my little white, suburban community, right? So,
right. Well, we're fine. We're starting to wake up to that. But yeah, my point being that there are a lot of people who've been suffering under it a lot longer.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But it doesn't work for anyone. In the end, it doesn't work for anyone. You can be fooled that it does, but I mean, and even the billionaires, like what are you doing? Like trying to grab everything there is. Like, we know that's not going to bring joy. Yeah, you're going to have this, you're going to have 10 yachts. It's clearly never enough. I need another yacht. I don't have, like, that guy's got 4 billion more than I do. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Okay.
So Emma, back to the
snake.
wheel.
Yeah, back to the snake. Sorry.
Yes.
No,
But I love how you explained it, because I have heard this before. I've been in a class, and to me, it was very complicated. It was like, it resonates, but that is a great metaphor, and that really did help that me understand anyway, that South.
Amazing. So. Good. Yeah. I've got my shaman theory right. But I think the thing is, for me, is we can get really ethereal with stuff like shamanism, the same as you can with a tarot card reading or a psychic medium. Is you can have all of the theory, but it's how do you actually use it in your everyday life? That's when it's useful, and it's not just a nice to have. So
that's exactly it. That's like, if you can understand it, but if you don't put the theory into practice, if you're not living it, it's just what do they call that? Mental masturbation. You're just playing with ideas, but you're not doing the thing.
You can tell, like, Marci and Debbie are a little out there right now. We're getting things, we're getting beat up over
zero
here.
fucks.
Yeah. Okay.
That is all good. If we move around the wheel to the next section, which is quite useful when we're talking about what's happening in America at the moment. So we move from the South, we've shed our skin, we've kind of examined the stories we tell ourselves, and we go, okay, I'm going to write a new story now. This story doesn't work for me anymore. And then we move into the direction of the West, which is Jaguar. And Jaguar is all about facing your fears and facing your shadow and challenging your beliefs. And I think you're also very much in Jaguar. I think we're both in Jaguar, because we're starting to have a look at all these things that I believed have been a lie, and they've been holding up a system where somebody needs 10 yachts and you can only ride on one yacht at a time. So there's a belief in and of itself. I need 10 yachts. Do you?
Right.
There's a belief to examine.
Meanwhile, how many families are unhoused, are living paycheck to paycheck, are working multiple jobs and still not getting by, are have one medical problem away from losing everything. The balance is completely gone.
Yep, it's completely gone. And I would say, to come back to the guy with 10 yachts, if we were working the medicine wheel with him, it would be, what belief do you hold that makes you think you need 10 yachts, friend? Bingo. And your life is not complete without it. Yeah. Because somebody with a problem and some inner work to do.
Big time. Big time. And there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah, we're going to send them your way.
Excellent. Next time I see you, I'll be on my yacht. I'll come pick you up.
Yes.
Oh,
Telling all the
boy.
billionaires, you all sit down and shut up because we need to
Yeah,
do some
come
work.
to drum for you to kind of get rid of all your negative vibes and pour
Yes.
some crystals.
Ooh.
So
Okay.
Jaguar, working in the West with Jaguar really requires the courage, if we're using it for
Mm,
our own good, to have a look at what are the things that we're afraid of, and where
yes.
do those fears stop us from moving forwards? Where do they stop us from being better humans? Where do they stop us from having a life that's better? And when we can examine those and then also start to let go of those, we can create a life that doesn't feel heavy and difficult and just full of struggle, which is often where we're at when we're at this kind of
Yeah.
bottom section of the medicine wheel.
Wow.
That
Wow.
is amazing. It's so resonating. Like that's right where we are. Yeah. And this is one thing that I keep coming back to is creating this world that works for everyone. And so when you're in this place where you see this world that's not working for anyone really, even though it seems like it is, but yeah, dropping all this stuff and finding a way because we're just community. And we're all connected. So when we've got such a big portion of our family, our human family in suffering, where no one can thrive in that.
No, no.
Mm. Hey, we just wanted to take a quick moment to tell you about something very exciting that Debbie and I and our team have been working on for literally years. And that is our Cour Tools app, which is now available at the Google Play Store and at the Apple Store. And you can sign up for it now and you will get access to all the tools we've been talking about on the podcast.
And if you're an early adopter of Cour Tools, you can get a VIP price for $49 for a lifetime. That's
Lifetime.
right.
Buy it once and we'll keep updating it too.
Yes, yes. So we're super excited about this. Go to Apple Store, go to Google Play, and purchase it now.
Cour Tools, COUR, capital TOOLS.
Go get it. Now, where do we go on the wheel?
So on the wheel, after the West, after we've had the South and the West, which is quite a lot of hard work and deep work and dark work to an extent, I think, is then we move up to the North and we move up to the direction of hummingbird. And this is where, when we've sloughed off all the old things, we can go, okay, I'm going to write the story anew.
Yes.
What does my soul want to do? What's my purpose in life? Where do I find my joy, and how do I find more of that? What do I need to do? So this is almost a stage of kind of what Martha Beck would call of dreaming and scheming with the change cycle, of where you start to think about, okay, what do I want instead? Now, what would be better for me and for everybody?
Yes. Yeah, because this is kind of a micro and a macro, like we're talking about. You're doing this work with individuals, with women, but this is, and we keep bringing it back to America, but this is work for for this country and for the world, if we can. But it does, as we always say, it starts with the individual. You have to start with yourself.
It seems like you're describing a midlife crisis.
That's pretty good.
Right? Like that waking up, the hummingbird going, whoa, how did I get here? But then, people are sort of frozen scared because they're like, well, now what?
Yeah.
Who am I? And that, speak of courage. There are quite a few people who won't go there, right? Yeah. Especially a woman who may have been, in a battered relationship or abusive relationship, to come out of that on our own. That's a pretty scary thing, right?
Yeah. And I think when we're working with the hummingbird and we're looking for our soul's calling, it does take sometimes, and I think this happens in midlife. I know I'm experiencing it, and most of my clients are, because we're all of a similar age. As you wake up and go, I've got this one life, which if I'm lucky, I'm at the halfway point of. what do I want to do? Do I want to keep going
Yes.
like I am, or do I want to do something different? And sometimes the doing
Yes.
something different requires burning what you've got down and letting it go.
Hmm.
It
Yeah.
requires the courage. That's when we come back to the jaguar bit. It requires the courage to be honest,
Yes.
risk hurting people or letting go of people, so you
Yeah.
can do what's best for you. And we've talked about this when we talked about heart math, to come back to
Mm.
the previous conversation, is when you are living in your authenticity and you are happy and you are content and you are on purpose, you are a better person. You
Yeah.
are calmer, you're more regulated, you're best, you're more resilient, you are
Yeah.
better able to be an anchor for other people.
Hmm.
So this is, I know this all sounds a bit, kind of a bit like, well, this is nice to have, but actually it's essential that more people wake up and feel good
Yeah.
and happy genuinely, because this is when we stop fucking with everything. This is when we stop with, I gotta have 10 yachts. Mr. 10 yachts doesn't feel good about himself. That's why he
No.
needs to.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and I want to say something else about this because especially as women, but we're all walking our own path. So it looks different for everyone, but for a lot of women, I think, and I can speak for myself as well, we had those years of child raising and we were so focused in on that. And so that doesn't mean that was bad or wasted or anything, but when your kids, if everything goes pretty well, then they're going to break away and they're going to live their own life, and that's what leaves a lot of women in that place of now what? It doesn't mean like you didn't waste anything. You did what you
Mm-mm.
needed to do. You got where you are. And now it's opening up a new phase, this manifestation, which is Debbie's, like she is the manifestation queen. But it's exciting. It's exciting because now you're like, okay, my kids are good. They're moving on. And it's not the same for everyone. Not everyone is raising kids, but whatever your 20s, 30s, and 40s was about, for me, it was my 30s and 40s, like was about getting them on their feet. And then the 50s started to come into, okay, now what do I want to do? What's my heart's desire? What's my purpose? Like you said, I got another, hopefully I'm halfway there. And that is an exciting time. So yes, takes courage. Also takes, it takes ability to say, I deserve to do what I feel called to do. I deserve to look within now and say, what is my purpose on the planet? It's scary, it's thrilling, it's amazing, and you deserve to do this. You deserve to step into this.
Yep,
It makes
absolutely.
it makes me think about so much of what's showing up. I think, Marcy and I talk about this a lot, but the the matriarchal way of being, right? So what we understand is that, for the last 10,000 years, it was all about the men, like, right? But what we understand is that for thousands of years before that, it was all about the women and older women, since we're talking about that stage of life, right? But I think even like a small example would be Marcy and I sort of, here we are like in our 60s. I can say that because Marcy turned 60 now, but
Woo!
um,
I made it.
but we do feel like, wow, we sort of have some wisdom, right? And we chose at this time in our life to start using our voice. Like, we
Yeah.
do have some important things to share. And I think it's just now that a lot of older women are feeling comfortable in that space. Like, hey, I got something to say. And I am powerful. Yeah, things are sagging and whatever, but listen to me. I got some shit to say, and I think you
Yeah.
could learn something from me. And I think the world is sort of realizing that. I don't think that's just a U.S. thing. I think like the world is ready for some women. I see a lot of men going, okay, well, go ahead, take over, like take the wheel,
Yeah.
because we kind of don't know what we're doing, and that takes a lot for a man, for men to open up and start talking about that too. But I imagine this is, I mean, so as we're talking about a community, is this, or the world, is this sort of where we're at? We're moving into a hummingbird stage where we're like, we're ready to start something new. Is that what you might be saying?
Well, we can hope, can't we? Because
Yeah.
we
Yes,
definitely have been
exactly.
walking through the
Something to
dark
look
stuff.
forward to.
Which look forward to. Yeah, and I think to your point about women asking for what they want and kind of coming into, what do I want to do with my life? It is,
Yeah.
that in itself is an act of courage, because we have been taught by society that actually don't rock the boat, make sure the family's fine. Who are you
Yeah.
to do that? Or, you know, men can walk out and trot off and do what they want, but if a woman does that, there's a huge judgment on that about, what about
So
everybody
true.
else's needs? And I think this is what happens when you've been raising a family, is you get into the stage of, actually, I come last because I need to make sure everybody else is okay. And I think what I see happening for women in midlife is they're going, hold the phone. Who has been checking that I'm fine?
Exactly.
And sorry,
one.
I'm not going to tolerate this anymore, because actually I'm going to put myself first, and be damned if someone calls me selfish or what have you.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think this is what is starting to happen. And I
Yes.
love what you're saying, Debbie, about, we're effectively in our crone era, which is just such a sort of, there's such a connotation with that. But this is the wild, wise woman era.
Yes. Yes.
And we're all
You
kind
can
of
just look at Marci's hair.
This is absolutely my crone hair, and that's why I'm letting it grow. I'm like, I'm in my
Love it.
wild woman phase. It's great. It's wild. I brush it a little for the podcast, but trust me, like
gorgeous. You look fabulous.
I am embracing my crone and loving it.
Yes.
But I think this is wonderful, because we've been in this society, especially with the media, where young and wrinkle free and is beautiful, and
Childlike, which opens that whole other can of worms with the files. And and so I do think a lot of women are looking at that and saying, that's why we have to shave, and we have to be so skinny, and we have to act meek, because we're supposed to be like little girls. And how fucked up is that?
That's it. And then I think what's happening is a lot of us are saying, we're not doing this anymore. This doesn't work for us, because we're in hummingbird and we're looking at what does work for us.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love you talking about the hummingbird phase, because that's exactly it. It's hope for what's unfolding. And I've been talking about this a lot in my spiritual community and with people who are struggling because they're in the jaguar phase and the snake and these harder, darker, walking through it. But when we can be like, it's okay, we are unfolding something better, and that's what we're striving for, is this hummingbird phase, where we slough off all these old paradigms that don't work, things that we've been doing, the white supremacy, the patriarchy. And I always like to point out, because we don't talk about, we've been hearing the word patriarchy, and matriarchy is just starting to come in, but the truth is that patriarchy is not good for men. And matriarchy is not just patriarchy with women in charge. It's a whole different way of being. It's a children at the center, family at the center, everyone's okay, where we take care of each other. Matriarchy is better for men than patriarchy. And it's better for everyone. It's better for community. So as we're kind of coming into this and realizing that, wow, we don't have to do things this way. We don't have to just look at the quarterly profits for the shareholders as our determinant of what we're going to do in our community. This short-sighted, very out of balance old way of doing it in corporate America and other places, and capitalism tied in with patriarchy. But we could start to look at what would serve the planet, what would serve humanity, starting with the kids. How do we care for this generation that's going to take over? And women know how to do that. The matriarchal society knows how to do that, and men know how to do it too. When you slough off the snake bullshit of patriarchy, slough that off, and let's build something new and wonderful.
Okay, we're moving to the east, or we're going to run out of time.
Yes, east. In
the east. This is probably one of my favorite bits. So east is eagle, and this is where we start to kind of zoom out on the big vision, and we shift perspectives, and we go, okay, how do we bring the joy to life? What action do we need to take? And how does that fit in with the rest of our lives? What's the plan? Where are we going with this? And how do we start to actually make the things we've thought, oh, my soul's calling is this, and that's really cool. How do you make it a reality? So eagle is bringing it, swooping down and bringing it to life. So the work pays off, if you like, of all the hard work you've done around the medicine wheel.
Whoa.
That is awesome. Yay.
We've just come full circle on the medicine wheel. I think this might be my new favorite little thing to do, actually. So how does this work? So how do people do this with this work with you,
Yeah.
or do you do this in large group settings? Or tell us about how people how they do this with you.
Yeah, so I have not much use for your listeners, but I have a weekend in-person retreat where I'm working with some women this coming weekend to actually move them through this, because I think it's quite a lot of work. It's nice in a supported container to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Will I am aiming to move around the world and be running retreats.
You know, we didn't mention where you're located, and you know, there could be people listening who could go to. So tell us where exactly that is. Yeah.
Yeah, so my workshop this weekend's in it's in Johannesburg, so I'm in South Africa.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing various things here and hopefully further afield. And I may well start to do this work online as well. For me, I think it's very, very important work. It's work that I've moved myself through, and it's really transformational to be able to slough off the things that don't work, and not wanting to disparage therapy, but I think sometimes we can get stuck talking about things all the time, and this is a model that actually helps us to stop talking and start actually energetically moving it. So that's why I think just so valuable.
The timing. The timing is like so apropos, right? Look at you just showing up just in time when the world is stuck. Let's just
The world needs this. Yeah, and I can tell you right now, I will sign up for this when it's virtual or anywhere closer, maybe. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't love to go to South Africa. It's just not really in the plans right now. But I would definitely be very interested in doing this virtually, and I know a lot of other people would be, and I would love to bring it to other communities. So so you did a beautiful job of explaining it and making it so practical. And like we were saying, that's the key, is where people can understand it and start walking it. So that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to talk about it and share. It's super exciting.
Yes.
We love you so much, and we're so grateful for having you.
Thank you. And we're going to share all the links so you can find out more about what Emma's doing, and we will have you back again. I feel so much better. Like, this was such an uplifting conversation, and I feel like when you can see a bigger picture and know that there's a purpose and there's something unfolding, that really changes everything. So thank you for that, Emma.
Yeah, so it's another tool in the toolbox, right?
There you go.
Big one.
Yeah, big one. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Dear.
And now for your core mental health break. This is your opportunity to take a moment to support your mental wellness, your peace of mind, your own ease and grace. Take some time every day to support your mental health. You deserve it, and it matters.
Today's affirmation is, everyone deserves love, including me. Say it aloud. Everyone deserves love, including me. Everyone deserves love, including me.
Thanks for listening to the Warrior Parent Podcast, which is a production of our nonprofit, Cour Experience, who also creates and distributes Cour tools. You can find us at courexperience.org. Make sure you join us next week for another informative conversation to help you and your family show up mindfully, purposefully, and joyfully with each other and in your community.
Our Cour Tools platform consists of a number of proven tools and techniques that are designed to reduce stress, anxiety, and overwhelm in spite of what's going on in your world. We want to thank Samuel Hale, LLC, for sponsoring this podcast. Technical and marketing support comes from Inspire Your Brand. Our podcast editor is Justin Beeden. Opinions expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect those of the hosts, the producers, or the financial supporters. I'm Debbie DeMano.
And I'm Marci Mitchell. Thanks for listening. If you resonate with the idea of creating a community to help support kids and families, won't you join us by following the podcast and sharing this episode? You can even write a review. It truly does take a village, and we appreciate you.